If we don't, we're going to regret it later. And we've got to make sure that we keep our belts tight and running a lean organization. Number 4 is communication and cooperation with the cities, with the state, with the federal governments. I noticed that we have a representative from Jeff Bingham's office here, and I'm pleased to see him here. We need to make sure that we continue to work as much as we can with these other organizations, because we all have to do a better job in making sure that all of our constituents are taken care of. It's not just our turf or their turf, it's everybody. Last part of that, Mr. Chair, the school districts especially. I think we've done a much better job working with the city. We have joint meetings, working with Sunland Park. We've got Camino Real going on. We've got a much better relationship with the state legislators. One of my failings, I think, was that I didn't do a good enough job in making sure we work with the school districts in terms of health care and programs for our children and the growth locations for new schools. To the new commissioners, I see Scott Kraling here in the crowd, but also to Ms. Benavides, who is taking my position. I congratulate you on your elections and have great faith in your ability to keep this county running. I ask you to consider these things that we were just talking about, but most importantly, I ask you to be active leaders. It will be easy to take on the title of being a commissioner. People will think that you're important. They will invite you to events where there will be free food and sometimes booze. You will be asked to speak as representatives of the county. Reporters like Diana here from the Sun News will call for your opinion on important topics. Speaking of which, you will have the ability to get up here and speak for hours on end, like I'm doing right now, about pretty much anything you want. None of this, however, the food, the quotes, the talk, makes you a leader. What does? When you are done with your term, ask yourself these simple questions. Did I achieve results? Did I actively make my community a better place to live in? What policies did I create that had direct impact on the people that I represent? Doing the things that will make you answer those questions positively will be challenging. Some people won't like what you do because even though it might be better overall, change makes people uncomfortable and sometimes frightened. You will get criticized. I'll give you an example. One of my worst experiences on the commission came after the whole prayer episode back in 2005. I got a message from a local pastor telling me that, and I quote, "God sent Hurricane Katrina to this country as a punishment for people like you." Furthermore, when you are a surgeon or an engineer or a farmer, you try to implement success by laying out a plan and following it exactly. Our profession, though, the development of public policy, is not an exact science. In school, we used to call it sausage making. Why? Because it's messy. Lots of people have their hands in the process. And sometimes you can't tell what is going to come out. If we waited for every detail of a proposal to be spelled out, we would never get anything done because knowing those details are impossible. So ask questions, get community input, receive as much information as you possibly can, but take action. Don't spend all of your time trying to destroy other people's ideas or postponing action indefinitely. Taking action is tough, but is the only way to get things done. Lastly, as much as we talk about the leaders and the politicians, the people here on this stage and others, we live in a democracy. And in a democracy, the policy, the conversation shouldn't be about us. It should be about you, the people in this room today, or watching on TV, or reading about these meetings in the newspaper or on the internet. You are the ones who decide what you like and what you don't like about the community that you live in, and you are the ones with the power to change it. I ask you, if you are involved, stay that way. If you aren't, get active, because that is the way that a community stays alive. So if you haven't, think about these issues. Talk to your neighbors about them. Write a letter to the editor. Contact your local leaders, or hell, run for office yourselves. It's all about taking responsibility for your city, your county, your state, and your nation. We need everybody to make this country work. If you do this, though, don't just complain. That's easy. Everyone has something to complain about. You can hear people doing it everywhere you go. At work, at the grocery store, at church, or at the bar. Everywhere. Don't be that person who, instead of doing something useful, takes the painless way out. They whine. They grumble. And my favorite, they call sound off or talk radio or blog anonymously. trying to assassinate people's character without having the guts to put their names on their statements. And I mean that. Since the Federalist Papers, anonymous rhetoric has a long and useful history in America. But if all you do is use these forums to trash people without giving any sort of positive message on how to make life better, you are a coward. Instead, make the effort, take the responsibility to come up with solutions to these problems that we all have. Explain how you will get the money to make them work and push those ideas in a public forum. This is hard. It is complicated. You may have to compromise to get those ideas implemented, and some people won't like them. You may even find that your name is negatively used in the paper. It's why so many people shy away from this course of action. But the biggest reasons why people don't push for positive solutions, risk and responsibility. It could be that you don't have a good idea. It may be completely worthless. And trust me, I know, because I've been known to push an idea like that every once in a while. When that idea crashes and burns, when something you have done pains someone in a way that you completely couldn't foresee, and you are responsible, it hurts. Because you have invested part of your own self-worth into this idea. When it fails, a piece of you does too. And I know what this feels like. But you know what else I know? If your idea works, if it becomes reality, the feeling of implementing something real, something you see making a difference, something that changes people's lives for the better, this feeling can change your life as well, in a way that makes you feel alive unlike any other. The ability to do this makes where we live a special place, and it is why, at its most basic level, I am so proud to be an American. Mr. Chair, I want to close by reading a passage by Theodore Roosevelt, because it explains what I've been trying to say for the last 10 minutes or so with much more elegance and simplicity than I could ever hope to accomplish. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the time.